25,000 feet above the Red Sea. 2:22 a.m. An FA-18E Super Hornet pilot stares down at coordinates that don't look like much, just another mountain in Yemen's coastal range. But intelligence says otherwise. Buried beneath that granite shell sits a Houthi ballistic missile cache, fortified, hardened, practically untouchable. The only way in? A ventilation shaft roughly the width of a sedan. The pilot's got one shot, one 2,000-pound penetrator bomb, miss by 15 feet, and the Houthis get to post another propaganda video mocking American air power. Hit it dead center, and the resulting cook-off will be the largest secondary explosion the Red Sea theater has ever seen. No pressure. 10 seconds on the clock. But before we talk about how we got here, we need to rewind 4 weeks to the moment the Houthis made their most catastrophic miscalculation. Pull up a map. See that narrow pinch point at the southern end of the Red Sea. That's Bab el-Mandeb. Military strategists call it a maritime choke point, and for good reason. Picture the only highway exit to the biggest shopping mall in the country on Christmas Eve. 15% of global maritime trade funnels through this strait daily. Container ships, oil tankers, bulk carriers. Block it, and you're not just inconveniencing logistics companies. You're strangling supply chains. Factories go dark. Store shelves empty out. Gas prices spike. It's economic leverage on a global scale. And the group squeezing that leverage? The Houthi rebels. These aren't your typical insurgents with rust bucket AKs and pickup trucks. This is an Iranian proxy force with a very specific operational mandate: harass commercial shipping in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, disrupt Western trade routes, and force political concessions regarding Gaza. Their toolkit? Surprisingly effective. Shahed kamikaze drones, cheap, expendable, swarming. Ballistic missiles with enough range to threaten Israeli territory. And the real pain in the neck? Mobile coastal radar stations that pop up, lock on, fire, then vanish before you can even scramble a response. Here's where the Houthis thought they were being clever. They ran the math on asymmetric warfare and liked the numbers. Launch a $2,000 drone at a cargo vessel. The U.S. Navy intercepts it with a $2 million SM-2 missile. From their perspective, it's a winning trade. Bleed American resources, force a cost-benefit reassessment, wait for Washington to pull back. They even started taunting U.S. inaction online, interpreting restraint as fear. Big mistake. Huge. Because there's a difference between a dog that barks and a wolf that watches. One's scared, the other's calculating. So why didn't the United States just flatten them immediately? Valid question. The answer isn't political hesitation, it's battlefield geometry. Houthi assets are mobile. Hit them too early, and you take out a few warehouses and maybe a drone assembly shed. Meanwhile, their actual strike capability, launch vehicles, tells, command nodes, scatters into the mountains and keeps operating. You end up playing whack-a-mole with cruise missiles, burning through ordnance for minimal effect. Not exactly efficient. So instead, the U.S. did something far more dangerous. It waited. For weeks, while Houthi propagandists celebrated minor hits on commercial vessels, American ISR platforms, satellites, Reapers, SIGINT aircraft quietly tracked every movement. Every time a Houthi radar powered up, its electronic signature got logged. Every supply route, every bunker, every command post. The Navy wasn't ignoring the problem. It was building a target deck. And when that list was complete, the gloves came off. This isn't a strike. It's a synchronized avalanche of precision violence launched from 3 separate domains simultaneously. From the surface, USS Carney's VLS cells snap open. Tomahawk Block V cruise missiles scream into the night, each one programmed with GPS-guided waypoints and a very specific set of coordinates. Subsurface, an Ohio-class SSGN, basically a submerged missile arsenal with a nuclear reactor, adds its own volley of Tomahawks to the barrage. And from 40,000 feet, B-2 Spirit stealth bombers release AGM-158 JASM cruise missiles, adding a high-altitude punch to the coordinated strike package. In total, 180 precision-guided munitions inbound. Now here's the insane part. These missiles didn't all launch from the same place or at the same time. Some came from ships 100 miles offshore. Others from submarines even farther out. The B-2s? They could have launched from halfway across the region, but the U.S. needed every single one of those weapons to detonate within the same 2-second window. Why? Because if the Houthis see the first explosions, they react, they disperse, they activate backup systems. You lose the element of total surprise. So the strike planners did something absurd. They turned 180 missiles into a timed orchestra. Shipboard computers calculated flight paths down to the millisecond. Some Tomahawks flew holding patterns to slow down. Others went full throttle to catch up. The result? A single devastating moment of impact. Just as the missiles enter Yemeni airspace, another layer activates. FA-18G Growlers, electronic warfare jets, light up their jamming pods. They're not even close to the target zone. They don't need to be. From offshore, they flood Houthi radar frequencies with high-power electromagnetic noise. If a Houthi air defense operator tries to lock onto an incoming Tomahawk, his screen shows nothing but snow. Radars blind. Comms jammed. No warning, no response. The missiles close in, invisible under an electronic shroud, locked onto targets that have no idea what's coming. Tomahawks hammer coastal radar installations and communication nodes. JASMs penetrate hardened silos housing long-range ballistic missiles. The Yemeni coastline detonates, not in sequence, simultaneously. Radar stations vaporize before they can transmit a distress call. Ammo depots chain react into towering fireballs that light up the horizon. The ground shakes like a seismic event. This is time-on-target doctrine taken to its most brutal extreme. Death doesn't arrive one explosion at a time. It kicks in every door at once. The Houthi air defense network doesn't get defeated. It gets erased in a wall of fire and overpressure. No chance to return fire. No chance to even process what's happening. But there's still one target left, the hardest one. While 180 cruise missiles shred area targets across the coast, this pilot's got a single-point objective: a reinforced underground ballistic missile storage site buried deep inside a mountain. External fragmentation won't cut it. You need penetration. The weapon of choice: GBU-31 V3 JDAM with a hardened steel casing designed to punch through 6 meters of reinforced concrete before detonating. But all that penetrating power means nothing without accuracy. The bomb has to enter through a ventilation shaft, basically threading a needle from 5 miles up while flying at 400 knots. Targeting podlocks. Pilot confirms. Release. 2,000 pounds of steel and high explosive separates from the wing and falls silent through the darkness. 10 seconds of freefall, then impact. A column of flame tears through the mountain. The shockwave sends debris hundreds of feet into the air. Inside, a catastrophic cook-off begins, stored munitions detonating in a cascading chain reaction. 5 years of Houthi strategic stockpiling gone in 5 minutes. Over the radio, shack, target destroyed. That wasn't luck. That was American precision strike capability doing exactly what it's designed to do. The battlefield goes quiet, but not for long. From a handful of surviving bunkers, the Houthis launch a desperate counterattack. Suicide drones and low-altitude cruise missiles, all inbound toward merchant shipping and the U.S. fleet. It's the equivalent of a knockout victim swinging wildly from the canvas. Pointless, but they're still trying. USS Carney's Combat Information Center stays ice-cold. Captain sees the inbound tracks and makes the call. Hold VLS, go low cost. Here's where the Navy flips the script. Instead of burning million-dollar interceptors, they activate the ANSLQ-32V-6 electronic warfare suite, nicknamed Slick 32 by the crew. It doesn't fire anything physical. It just floods the drone formation with concentrated jamming energy, frying navigation circuits, severing GPS links, scrambling inertial guidance. The lead drones tumble out of the sky like they forgot how to fly. For anything still flying on autopilot, the Navy brings out the Mark 45 5-inch gun, loaded with airburst frag rounds. The gun doesn't aim for direct hits. It fires proximity-fused shells that detonate in front of the drone swarm, creating a supersonic cloud of shrapnel. The remaining Houthi drones fly straight into that steel curtain and disintegrate mid-flight. 17 drones and missiles destroyed. None made it within visual range of the fleet. Dawn breaks over the Red Sea. American destroyers continue their patrol as if nothing happened. On the Yemeni coast, thick black smoke still rises from what used to be the Houthis' most valuable strategic assets. Last night wasn't just an airstrike. It was a demonstration in modern combined arms warfare. Muscle serving brains, technology serving strategy. The U.S. Navy scored 2 victories most people didn't even recognize. First, tactical dominance. By applying saturation level time on target doctrine, the U.S. eliminated the concept of defense entirely. When 180 targets explode in the same instant, there's no time to react, no time to learn, no time to adapt. That's not combat. That's systematic annihilation. Second, and more important, economic victory. The Houthis tried to bait the U.S. into a resource-draining war. $2,000 drones versus $2 million interceptors. They failed spectacularly. The U.S. didn't target the drones. It targeted the irreplaceable infrastructure behind them: radars, launchers, command centers. And when the Houthis counterattacked, the Navy used electronic warfare and cheap naval gunfire to shred the response. Asymmetric warfare cuts both ways. Here's the lesson for anyone thinking about challenging freedom of navigation. Don't mistake patience for weakness. The U.S. Navy spent 4 weeks silent, not out of fear, but to gather intelligence, build the target list, and ensure that when the trigger finally got pulled, it would be the last time you'd be able to fire back. The Red Sea is clear. The price for provocation has been paid in full. What's your take? Did the Houthis learn their lesson, or are they dumb enough to try again? Drop a comment below. If you want more breakdowns like this, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And tell us, where are you watching from?